What's up, guys? Today I'm excited because I'm talking about something that completely changed my life in the summer of 2013. I cannot wait to get into it because hopefully it will encourage you and make your life a lot better too. And so let's get right into it. So before I get to the summer of 2013, I have to go further back. I have to go into high school. And I have to tell this story through the lens of sports, but I promise you it goes way deeper than this. And so whenever I was in high school playing football, I did everything the coaches asked of me. I worked hard. I was even known to be probably one of the harder workers, but I didn't have to give it my all because I knew that I was most likely going to be successful no matter what I did. I was already strong enough. I was ready to take on the challenge of playing against these other high school players. But you see, in the summer of 2013, everything changed. I was not a 5-star recruit. I was not a 4-star recruit, but I was good enough to be able to be a preferred walk-on in a major D1 university, which is the University of Oklahoma. And so I had this coach from OU. He came up to me, brought me out of class, and was like, "Ruben, we can't give you a scholarship, but we want you to walk on to the University of Oklahoma." And it was always my dream to play there. You see, whenever I grew up, I was an OU fan. My whole family was, and so that's the ideal place to be. And so even though it wasn't a scholarship, I was ready to take on the challenge, and I was ready to go play at the University of Oklahoma. And so at first, I'm super excited. I remember getting out of that meeting and running around the parking lot, just immediately trying to get ready to be a football player at the University of Oklahoma. And so I was so excited, and that lasted for a couple months until I started my first summer workout. So one of my first workouts, I have to tell you how it went. So one of the things at OU that I wasn't used to is just the amount of weight that these guys could lift. I mean, I was too slow. I wasn't fast enough. I didn't understand football well enough. And so I get thrown into this workout group of the starters for whatever reason. Who knows why, but I wasn't ready. And so I made it through the cardio at the beginning, pulling sleds, doing all this different stuff. But when we got into the weight room, I just wasn't strong enough. And so I'm giving it everything I can, but these guys are helping me with every rep. And I remember just sitting down on bench one time and had to wait. And I'm going, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I get to 10 finally. And I can't even see right. I'm losing my vision. I stand up and I'm wobbly and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never experienced this before. I'm just not going to make it. And so we had this strength coach, his name was Coach Schmitty. And Coach Schmitty came in, he said, "All right, boys, we're running to the stadium," which is about maybe a quarter mile away. And I knew something was going to give because my arms weren't working. I couldn't see straight. And I was like, I'm in a bad place. And this has never happened before. In high school, I led the way in these workouts. And so I began running to the stadium. I'm in the very back of this group of guys. And my arms are just flapping around, probably looking ridiculous. And as soon as I hit this incline, this ramp to go into the stadium, my calves cramp up and I pass out. And that was my first week at OU. And that night, I go home and I tell my mom, "Mom, this is not for me. I am not strong enough. I'm not good enough to hang with these guys." And I actually told her that night that I was going to quit. And now all these crazy circumstances, they come up and it allows me to continue to play. But basically just, whatever, maybe God timing or just coincidence, whatever it was, I had all my family in town and they encouraged me and said, "Ruben, give it one more day." And so I gave it one more day for the rest of the summer. But the moral of the story here is that this is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. I wanted to quit every single day, but I was in the right environment. So whenever I experienced this change from going from high school football to college football, where my environment completely changed, and I was around people who were going to make me better, to push me every single day, I realized this is how life works. And I take this every day with me to work, to life, and relationships. I get in the right environment so that whatever I'm focusing on, I can become what I want to become in that. And I grow in it and I become better. And so today I'm going to talk about a few different things that will tell you and confirm that you're in the right environment, or maybe give you the confidence to know that you're not in the right environment. So when I look back at this time where there was so much change, where my environment changed, I went from high school football to college football, I realized this is how life works. You have to be in the right environment for work, for life, when you're learning about relationships. You have to be in the right environment so you can become who you want to be. So what creates a good environment? The first thing I want to talk about is to get in an environment where people around you are ahead of you. And so in football, this was strength and speed and knowledge of the game. But in real life, it looks like wisdom. It looks like experience. It looks like confidence to do bigger things than you could ever imagine. And so this translates into our everyday lives. I want you to be in an environment that makes you better every single day. Because when people around you challenge you, then you are going to get better much faster than you ever could if you were the best, if you were the brightest. And so there's one other thing to realize too is there's always somebody that's better than you. There's always somebody that can push you to the next level. So don't walk around acting like you are the best thing that's come to this earth. Because you need to be in an environment that can make you better. Because you have to compare yourself to the uncommon. When you compare yourself to the common, you may look great, but when you compare yourself to the uncommon, that's when progress is made. So the second thing about being in the right environment is that you have to be around people that will encourage you. Because if you are just around people that are better than you and they want it to stay that way, they don't want to teach you, your confidence is going to go down and you are going to be discouraged. You're not truly going to grow. You have to first find an environment where people are ahead of you, but also an environment where people are encouraging you. You have to find a rare environment in which people want you to grow better, want you to catch them, want you to make progress, and are not scared of you growing faster than them. That is an environment where you will make so much progress and begin this journey of making your life better every single day. Whenever you are instilled with confidence, that is going to allow you to be successful, because the third thing that we're talking about and what it takes to have a great environment around you is the third thing: you have to be okay to take risk. And with confidence, that gives you the ability to take risk. If you can't take risks, you're not going to make progress. You're not going to do anything that stands out, anything that's great. You may be able just to go through the motions and do what is expected, but with risk comes great reward. You have to be in an environment where you are okay to fail, because with risk comes a chance that you will fail. And failure is not necessarily bad. If you learn from failure, then you can begin to continue to grow, to continue to become better, because you learned what doesn't work. The only time when failure is bad is if you allow it to take your confidence, if you allow it to tell you who you are, that you are a failure, but you're not a failure. What you did was not successful. And you're going to learn from that. You're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to get better. The fourth thing is that you have to be in an environment in which you have confidence, you're able to take risk, and the people around you are better, but also a place where you feel emotionally healthy, a place where you are encouraged. And some of this you can control, some of you can't. Because one of the first things I want you to realize in creating an environment that you really want to be in is that sometimes you don't have to change that environment by location, but you have to change it just by how you act. And what I mean by this is there's two ways to walk around in the world. First, you can choose to be a thermometer. And what I mean by this is you can walk around and react to the people around you. So what does a thermometer do? You put it into the air, you put it into water, you put it into food, whatever it is, and it measures the temperature of whatever it's in. And so it reacts to what's around it. But what does a thermostat do? A thermostat controls the temperature that is around it. It sets the temperature. And so how this relates to the environment that you want to be in is when you walk in and you're positive and you're trying to control that environment, you're trying to push other people, it's going to be contagious. Other people are going to see that, they're going to give it back to you. But if you walk in and somebody is getting after you and you just get after them and mad and angry and you just keep this cycle going, it's going to be unhealthy and you're going to want out. But sometimes you can't control the environment. Sometimes you're just overwhelmed. Sometimes when you're in a place that doesn't give you confidence to be the thermostat, you've got to move to a different place. And so that's definitely a possibility. And so I would encourage for most people that moving job, moving places is probably not the right thing to do, but it probably is for some. And so if that's you, maybe you recognize it, maybe get some outside advice to see if the environment that you're in is not healthy. Somebody that you can trust, somebody that is going to shoot you straight and not just tell you exactly what you want. Choosing your environment is just so important because it controls your destiny. It begins to shape who you are, begins to speed up or slow down the progress that you are making in life. Just as I was in high school playing football, if I would have had that college football environment through high school, I would have made so much more progress. I would have been ready for college and then some, right? And I know that's unreasonable. And I was younger, and who knows, but if I worked as hard as I did in college and high school, I would have been at another level. And so that's why it's so important to find the right environment. I feel like I am today in that right environment. I'm surrounded when I go to work with people who are smarter than me, people who have done this before. And so for me, I just need to continue to learn. I need to continue to open my ears, learn lessons every single day, and be pushed and take all the good things that I learn away from them and continue to make progress in my life. So guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm just so passionate about growing and becoming better. And I want to encourage you just to follow my journey. I would love for you to subscribe. I would love for people to comment so that I can get back with them, because it's just a journey. And I want to learn from you guys as you learn from me. So if you have any topics you want me to talk about, let me know. My goal is to post every single Tuesday. And maybe as we get bigger, we can do it more. But I definitely love talking to you guys. Like this video, subscribe, share it. Would love just for some support as I start this channel. But you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next week.